forest, a small group gathered around a flickering campfire. Shadows danced as crackling flames cast an eerie light on the weary travelers. They had come seeking adventure, but one among them, Alex, a skeptical paranormal expert, was here for something more. He had heard the legends, the whispers of a forsaken place where spirits did not merely haunt, but could change the very fabric of human flesh. The local tales spoke of body-altering ghosts, phantoms that could twist and reshape the living, merging them with the forest itself. To Alex, it was all nonsense. He believed the real horror was fear itself, and he was determined to prove it. As the night deepened, the group shared ghost stories. Their voices wavered, half in jest, half in unease. The wind carried a strange whisper through the trees, almost as if the forest was listening. One of them, Lisa, glanced over her shoulder, swearing she saw movement beyond the firelight. "Just the wind," Alex assured her, his voice steady. The mind plays tricks in the dark, but the night had other plans. A rustling sound broke the silence. Then, a distant, inhuman wail. The group tensed. Was it an animal? A trick of the wind? Then came the first sign of something unnatural. Mark, a quiet but sturdy member of the group, suddenly stiffened. His breath hitched. He clawed at his arm beneath his jacket, his face contorted in pain. "Something's moving under my skin," he choked out. Lisa gasped as she saw it too. Beneath Mark's sleeve, something slithered, veins shifting unnaturally, muscles bulging in odd places. He yanked off his jacket, revealing flesh that rippled like water. His eyes widened in terror. Mark screamed. He stumbled away from the fire into the shadows. A moment later, the scream stopped. The group was paralyzed in fear. "We have to find him," Lisa urged, but no one moved. Alex, swallowing his own rising fear, grabbed a flashlight. "I'll go." His rational mind told him there had to be an explanation. The others stayed near the fire, huddled, whispering prayers and reassurances that felt hollow. Alone, Alex ventured deeper into the forest. The flashlight flickered. The deeper he went, the thicker the air became, charged with an otherworldly presence. Then he saw it. A childlike figure stood between the trees, its wide, empty eyes fixed on him. Its small, translucent hand reached out. Alex hesitated. "Who are you?" The figure stepped forward, pressing its fingers against his chest. A bone-chilling cold seeped through his skin. The sensation was unbearable. His body wasn't his own anymore. He gasped as his form rippled, his arms stretching, his vision darkening at the edges. It was as if something else was pulling at his very essence, reshaping him. Panicked, he wrenched himself free and bolted back toward camp. His body felt wrong, lighter, yet heavy with an unknown presence. His breath came in ragged gasps as he burst into the clearing. What he saw made his blood run cold. The others were changing. Lisa's face was elongating into something unnatural, her mouth stretched in a silent scream. Another friend, Darren, clawed at his arms, the skin peeling away like tree bark, revealing dark, twisting roots beneath. The firelight illuminated their grotesque transformations as they struggled, their identities slipping away. "We have to fight it," Alex yelled, but his voice wavered. Lisa's wide, terrified eyes met his. "How?" "It's inside us." Her voice was barely human anymore. Then Alex understood. Fear was the key. This entity fed on it, manipulated it, used it to control and reshape them. If they gave in, they would be lost. Summoning every ounce of willpower, he stepped toward the figures lurking in the dark. "You don't control us," he shouted, his voice defiant. The whispers in the trees howled in response. The others followed his lead, closing their eyes, refusing to acknowledge the horrors trying to consume them. Their breathing steadied. Their bodies trembled, but they resisted. The spectral figures howled in frustration. The shadows thinned. Then, silence. When they opened their eyes, the forest was unchanged. The fire still burned, as if the night had never happened. But they knew better. Alex turned to Lisa, who was panting. Her face was back to normal, but her eyes held something hollow, something knowing. They had survived the night, but the forest had marked them. As dawn neared, a final horror dawned upon them. The night had looped back on itself. The camp looked untouched. Their bodies were intact, yet they all felt different. Had they truly survived? Or had something else taken their place? Alex glanced at the trees, where the whispering had not stopped. The spirits were still watching, still waiting. The curse had not been broken, only delayed. As the fire flickered out, the wind carried their whispers into the unknown, leaving one question hanging in the air. Can they ever break free? The group, now shaken, hesitated to speak. Mark had not returned. His absence loomed over them like a dark cloud. Lisa wiped sweat from her brow, her breathing uneven. "We can't stay here," she whispered. Darren nodded, gripping his flashlight. "If we move together. No one goes alone again." But as they prepared to leave, the ground beneath them trembled. The fire sputtered. The shadows deepened. From the darkness, a low, guttural voice echoed, "You are already ours." A cold gust of wind extinguished the fire. The forest plunged into absolute darkness. Then, the laughter started. It was Mark's voice, but warped, echoing from all directions. "Run if you want, but you won't get far." Alex swallowed his fear and grabbed Lisa's hand. "We move now." The group sprinted through the forest, but the trees twisted and changed, paths shifting like a living maze. No matter how far they ran, they always ended up back at the extinguished campfire. The spirits had ensnared them. Lisa sobbed. "We're trapped." Alex clenched his fists. "Not if we break the cycle." Dawn was approaching. He remembered the entity's reaction to their defiance. Fear fueled it. So what if they denied it fear? Alex turned, facing the shadows. "We're not afraid," he bellowed. Lisa, Darren, and the others followed, standing firm. The whispers turned to enraged screeches, the darkness recoiling. The forest trembled, the illusion cracking. Then, light. The sun peeked over the horizon. The forest stilled. Had they won? Or was this just the beginning?